to make a valedictory statement.
Mr. Speaker, in life there are many different definitions of success, and in Parliament the same goes. There are many different definitions of what makes a successful politician. 9 years ago I entered Parliament. I've got to say I was pretty naive, and some would probably argue that that hasn't changed too much. I just won the Labour seat of Napier, the first time in 50 years, and I thought I'd been pretty successful at that point in time. But like all politicians from across this House, I entered this place with the intention of helping to create a better New Zealand. We all have the same purpose, just different ideas of how we might achieve that goal. But success, Mr. Speaker, in Parliament is not defined by just winning a seat or becoming a Cabinet Minister. Success comes with many different faces. I recall in my first year a gym session with Rodney Hyde. You might not want to think too hard about that, but at the Bolton Hotel, and a discussion about what made a successful politician. "You've got to take scalps," was Rodney's advice as he sweated away on the cycling machine. "You can't be successful in this place unless you take scalps," was his advice. Shortly after, I was presented with a completely different face of success from the Honourable Jim Sutton, who in his valedictory reflected on the importance of retaining family to ensure a successful political career. "Public life is often a selfish business. It can be all-consuming," he said. "Those closest to public figures often pay a high or unfair price. To those I have hurt, I say sorry," just said Jim. "To those who follow me here, I say try to do better than I did." Throughout my own political career, I've reflected on these words of sage advice. For most, however, political success is defined with a more public face. On a daily basis, we politicians are built up and we're cut down. Whether it be the number of bills you pass, the number of times you're mentioned in the press, your performance in select committees, success here is very transparent. This all culminates in an annual ranking of ministers and MPs. It's a humbling experience. For some, a crumbling experience. Definitely not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. The fact of the matter, Mr. Speaker, is that only a few of us make it to the very top of this game. There's only a small number of John Keys and Bill Englishes, Helen Clarks and Michael Cullens. To those from across this House who make it to the very top in this game and who then stay there, you have my absolute respect. It is no mean feat, and staying there is even more difficult. To John Key and to Bill English, I applaud you for your outstanding partnership and your leadership. I've been a member and a leader of many teams in my life, so I can genuinely say that being a part of this team has been an absolute privilege. To the Cabinet and my wider caucus, I congratulate you for leading our nation through one of the most difficult periods in our history. There is a depth, Mr. Speaker, to our team, often overlooked by commentators, and which continues to provide new and exciting talent when others, such as myself, decide that their time in this place is at an end. That is exciting, Mr. Speaker. Rejuvenation while a team is on top is often the hardest, but actually the best thing to ensure longevity. Can I thank all of my team for your support to both my wife Angela and to my family throughout my time in this place. Mr. Speaker, I've not been one of the political rock stars. I've not climbed to the very top of the political ladder. In saying this, I am proud. I'm very proud to have been part of a team that has made and continues to make a huge contribution to this nation. And I'm proud of the part that I played in that team. To use one of my dad's analogies, it's all very well for the wingers to take the glory, but if the props and the hookers didn't win the ball, there'd be... That's right. Some good props around there, Mr. Saban. Listen to this. If the props and the hookers didn't take the ball, there'd be no applause for the Twinkle Toes. I guess I've been one of those in the middle of the ruck. Mr. Speaker, some commentators say that you need to watch those behind you more than those across the other side of the House. Well, that has not been my experience. Far from it. I have absolutely loved my time here and the friendships that I have made, including many across the other side of the House and in the media. Thank you very much as well. Mr. Speaker, recently I attended the Aspiring Leaders Forum, where the Maxim Institute brings together 120 of our young leaders. My own son Sam, who's in the gallery today, was fortunate to be an attendee there. Warehouse CEO Mark Powell gave the keynote address and had another definition of success. He defines success as when you are part of something bigger than yourself and when you help others to flourish. When you are part of something bigger than yourself and when you help others to flourish. It's a great definition of success, and to this end, Parliament has many, many more examples of successful people who by other measures have not risen to the top or who have by their actions allowed others to shine. And I have many examples of these people that I want to acknowledge this evening. Can I start by thanking the people who have supported me while I've been in this place? My electorate office team, Tanya Wright, Vicky Sanders, Sue Boyle, Sharon Coates, Sue Page and Mary Crerar. Tanya and Vicky have been with me from day one. Electorate agents, as we all know across this House, are the unsung heroes of an MP's business. Day in and day out, they deal with all spectrums of our society. Being an electorate MP is an incredible job. The diversity of the role, both challenging and rewarding. And I want to thank the people of Napier and Warrell and Hawke's Bay for giving me the huge privilege to represent you over the last 9 years. One of the more memorable experiences was being asked to be the guest of the Go Natural Lifestyle Club to open their new gazebo. I consulted my wife Angela, as I was too scared to go on my own. She agreed to join me. I spent more time that Saturday morning deciding what to wear than to any other occasion I've ever been to since. Should I be in casual, formal, or should I be in my birthday suit? Who knows? Well, we arrived at 11:30 a.m. in time for a tour and lunch. To this day, I will never forget driving up the Pine Enclosed complex, pulling over in the car park and watching the reception party walk down to greet us both. Ange leaned over and whispered in my ear, "My God, CJ, they really are naked." In my neighbouring electorate, I want to acknowledge my good mate Craig Foss and his electorate staff, particularly Susanna Clark. We've worked closely together to take Hawke's Bay forward. Reflecting back on my maiden speech, I set goals around Napier Health, Napier Community Policing, the Hawke's Bay Airport, business growth and apple exports to Australia. 9 years on, I can confidently say that we've made good progress. We secured a 10-year commitment to the Wellesley Road Health Centre. We've got community policing in Maraenui and in Tamatea. We extended the Hawke's Bay Regional Airport runway, and we've championed business growth, trying to get an oil and gas industry and new irrigation up in Hawke's Bay. There's still more work to do there, Fossey, actually. While still only small volumes, our efforts did help to ensure that apples can now be exported to Australia. And I want to thank both Phil Goff and Tim Grosser for their efforts in achieving that for us. Thank you. The partnership between Craig and I under the brand Back in the Bay was a key factor in holding our seats for 3 consecutive terms. Craig, I've appreciated your friendship and support. In that regard, can I thank my Napier electorate team who are out there supporting my replacement, Wayne Walford, as we speak. Some of you are here tonight. There are so many that have contributed, too many to mention you all, but to my electorate chairs over the last 9 years, Tom Johnson, Marshall Savage, Lynn Trafford and now Ian Main, thank you very much. To the National Party Board, particularly my regional chairs Patricia Morrison, Malcolm Plimmer, and national chairs Judy Kirk and Peter Goodfellow, thank you for your support behind the scenes, enabling your MPs to bask in the sunshine. To all the people of this House, from the cleaners to the security guards who ensure the smooth running of Parliament, thank you. If there is ever a group of people who quietly go about ensuring that others can flourish, it is you. Mr. Speaker, my time in the backbench was a huge learning opportunity. There is no better place to learn the craft of politics than on the opposition backbench. It's a great place to make a few mistakes and to live to fight another day. One big mistake that I made requires an apology to my leader at the time, Don Brash. Early in my time as constituent MP, we received a visit to Napier by the Earth Race biodiesel boat. One Peter Bethune visited my electorate office asking me to visit his boat in the port of Napier. I was busy, but in the course of the conversation worked out that he would be in Wellington during the next parliamentary sitting, so I agreed I would come and visit with a few colleagues. I suggested to Nick Smith that this would be a great opportunity to give Don some much-needed profile. Not such a good idea. Nick agreed to invite Don. The rest is history and has become the stuff of walk the plank legends. Don, please accept my sincere apologies for that particular idea. To Mac Dalton, Alistair Shelton, Pat Humphreys and Stefan Sluton, who have supported me in my parliamentary office, thank you. In particular, can I acknowledge Pat Humphreys, who has worked in this amazing institution for much of her life. From junior backbench MPs to Prime Ministers, Pat Humphreys has supported MPs to rise to the top of the ladder. Pat, thank you. Yeah, do give her a clap. To my Whip's office team, a huge thank you for your support over the 3 years I served as junior and senior Whip. At the heart of that office is Sue Reid, who has guided many new Whips in the right path. Thank you, Sue. I've often described the Whip's role as 50% Sergeant Major and 50% local pastor in the church. It's a role that requires the trust of the caucus. We were a tight team, as we are today. There are lots of stories that the Whip becomes party to, many of which are not appropriate to share. However, I have one story I'd like to tell which involves another apology, and this one to Louise Upston. She's thinking, what the heck have I done here? During the start of my parliamentary year, I was asked by the Young Nats to send a party representative to the Massey campus to participate in O Week. I asked Louise to be our representative, to which she agreed. At 12 p.m, I received a call from the Young Nats. Where is Louise? I called Louise. I'm at the front gates, she said. We're at the front gates as well, said the Young Nats. Turns out I'd sent Louise to Palmerston North instead of to Wellington. I'm sorry about that, Louise. Can I thank my ministerial team headed by Keith Mason, Jenna Rayburn and Mary Jane Rendell. Like Pat, Keith, who's up there today, has been an SPS in this Parliament for over 20 years, working to support the success of ministers across both sides of the House, for that matter, and now supporting Minister Parata. While I was only a minister for 2 years, it is an incredible workload that goes through a minister's office with huge diversity. During my time, it was great to lead a review of the fire service, to initiate significant change in the gambling sector, to introduce the right-hand turn law, to introduce online passports, to oversee the whole of government ICT strategy, and to lead the second tranche of local government reform, amongst all manner of other things. I want to pay a huge tribute to the public sector, especially to the team at DIA. Under the leadership of Colin MacDonald, they have transformed into a modern, forward-looking department. Congratulations. There are many in the department who've deserved mention, none more than Marilyn Little. She has worked tirelessly for both sides of this House, providing outstanding advice, helping others to take the credit from her work. When one comes to Parliament, we're all fortunate to give maiden speeches, and now in one's valedictory, the chance to reflect on that speech. In my maiden speech, I commenced with a mihi. Whātapai tā whiti kia tāta, whātapai tāta, whakamaua kia u kia tina. The mihi speaks of reaching for the stars, pursuing one's dreams. At the time, it was remarked how unusual it was for a Pākehā New Zealander to use so much te reo in his maiden speech. I actually think our intake surprised more than a few and set a tone for the National Party, one which has truly connected us with Middle New Zealand, not the far left or the far right. We came from vastly different walks of life: nurses, builders, diplomats, shearers, Colin King, teachers, shoe salesmen, teen parents, and even real estate agents. We understood what made Kiwis tick. A few of our number have risen through the ranks and many of us have been the solid core of the National Caucus, providing stability, consistency and connection to people at the coalface. We've been the props and the hookers of the team. And this connection has been continued through the 2008 and 2011 intakes, which is absolutely fantastic. Mr. Speaker, when a mainstream party loses that connection with the aspirations of middle New Zealand, the results speak for themselves. To my colleagues, never, ever forget that. In regards to the goals I set in my maiden speech, I'm proud to see how much progress has been made in the area of tree settlements and see the huge progress in my own rohi. While there are still settlements that need to be completed, we're in a totally different place from where we started. The Honourable Christopher Finnison will be knighted at a future time for his service in this area. In my maiden speech, hold me to that. In my maiden speech, I expressed concern at the progress of our nation, at the lack of opportunity for my children, at the huge numbers of people leaving our shores. In spite of the Christchurch earthquakes, the GFC and the meltdown of our second-tier finance sector, New Zealand is now judged as one of the best economies in the Western world. Just today, Australians Treasurer Joe Hockey called New Zealand's economy the envy of the world. It is fantastic, Mr. Speaker, to see the turnaround of the migration stats. I'm exceptionally proud to see that nothing else reflects people genuinely seeing a brighter future in Aotearoa than those migration stats. In addition to the goals I set in my maiden, I'm proud of my affirmative votes in the smacking, the seabed and foreshore legislation and the marriage amendment bill. In each of these bills, I learned that leadership is not always about following the status quo or majority opinion. Leadership is about challenging the status quo for something which you believe is genuinely better. Mr. Speaker, under John Key's leadership, we've made huge progress. I am excited about the future of this country and the prospects available to all children in our nation, including my own children. With the economy in such great shape, it is an excellent time to leave this House in search of new opportunities. I have already brought into 2 new businesses and am exploring a third. I'm looking forward to re-engaging with my entrepreneurial passion. It's going to be challenging but exciting. In particular, I will have more time to spend with my family, and it is they who I would most like to thank as I come to the end of my valedictory. In my maiden speech, I said that I would endeavour to put families at the pinnacle of government policy, because I said, without strong families, we have nothing. Mr. Speaker, I have a strong family, and they're here tonight. Even some of the members of my wider family in the Provincial Club. You know who you are. To my mother, Pam, thank you for your support, for giving me the opportunity and the independence to do all that I wanted from a very young age. To my father, I miss you hugely and wish that you could be here with your family tonight. Dad, I'm wearing your cufflinks tonight. To my brothers Mark and Simon, we've often been measured against our father's success and on the sporting field and in life. Each of us, however, have cut our own different paths. I'm confident that he would have been very proud of each of us and of our young families. In saying that, I was never able to emulate my dad's prowess on the sporting field. However, let the Hansard record for eternity that I did captain the parliamentary rugby team to victory in the 2011 Parliamentary Rugby World Cup. To my wife Angela's parents and family, particularly to Trevor and Jeanette, thanks for Angela and for your huge support to me and our family. To Ange, Sam, Will and Lily, I love you all dearly. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, have I been successful in this parliamentary career? By some measures, certainly, by others not as well. Sorry, Rodney, I didn't take any scalps while I was here. But I have been part of something bigger than myself. Most definitely, and my efforts have allowed others to flourish. Yes, I've achieved that. I started my maiden speech in Te Reo and will end it in our first language. In 2012, I took the Prime Minister to Wairoa, honouring a commitment I had made to the wonderful people of that part of my electorate. On that day, we had a number of pōwhiris where we did not have a speaker to introduce the PM. That role fell to me and the waiata. Upon our return to the caucus on the following Monday, I was required by the PM to sing that waiata in the caucus room. Possibly the first person to ever do so at the National Party caucus. It was rough. I won't make you suffer that again. But I will close with a whakatauiki, a proverb, which talks of a new beginning, a touch of frost, a new dawn. I think it is appropriate as I leave this place and pursue an exciting new future. Whakatakite hau ki te uru, whakatakite hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhunga. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora.